Hey there. Well, considering today's movie is the last in the Jurassic World trilogy, I thought I'd go light on the decorations. So up here, we have the Jurassic Park trilogy and Baby Secret of the Lost Legend. At some point I should re-review that one. There's so much I got wrong in the original. Down here, a couple of threequels. Some good ones, some not so good. At least ones I can stomach. That's okay, because on the final shelf just down here I have my McDonald's Jurassic Park cups. As long as they stay down right there, I see no problem in sight at all. It's a bad movie. I spent a lot of my time focusing on this franchise, all 6 films. But as long as I tell myself this is not in vain, I should be okay. It's been a journey, but I can get through it. I wasted a lot of time on these 6. But I'm certain in the long run, it will be worth it. No matter what angry comments come my way, no matter what... Wait a minute. I just randomly grabbed this stack in the back of my closet without thinking. And this whole time, I had a copy of George A. Romero's Day of the Dead. You mean to tell me that instead of reviewing this disaster piece of a flick, I could have talked about a good threequel? This time, the cups are off. Let's finish this. Trilogy is a really strong word. You're dealing with a narrative that is broken up into 3 stories on their own that are linked together, with the final being some sort of satisfactory finale. And with all due respect, there are some good examples I can think of off the top of my head. The original Star Wars trilogy, Back to the Future, and of course, the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. But there are times when trying to top the other gets difficult, or certain choices along the way can make or break the journey. Reviewing and rewatching these Jurassic World movies taught me one thing. Even if technical things like the special effects and certain choices can feel somewhat improved, you still need a good script to pair these things with. Jurassic World Dominion does not have one. And just when you think that things could possibly get any worse, they do. The original plan for the Jurassic World trilogy would have had Colin Trevorrow write the stories, and each one be helmed by a different director. He also hinted the future of the series where each entry would be new and different by changing things up, while exploring the idea of dinosaurs and humans coexisting. In between this, Trevorrow was set to direct Star Wars Episode 9, but that never came to fruition, as him and Kathleen Kennedy couldn't agree on a satisfactory script. I'm tempted to say it was for the best, given Trevorrow directed Jurassic World, but his second film, The Book of Henry, was a pure disaster. Yet, Book of Henry was made from a script that was kicking around since 1998, and written by someone else. Dominion was written by Trevorrow, his writing partner Derek Connolly, who worked on the previous 2 Jurassic World movies, and Emily Carmichael, who, as of this video, her only film writer credit is Pacific Rim Uprising, along with a couple of short films. If you're expecting a movie where dinosaurs are terrorizing neighborhoods, that's not quite what Trevorrow had in mind. He thought it'd be more fitting and realistic if dinosaurs were roaming free in the same way bears, deer, and sharks do, while exploring the idea of coexisting with prehistoric creatures brought back to life. A lot of other ideas were tossed in as well from Carmichael and certain cast members, like one involving a baby raptor or a black market selling dinosaurs. Filming began in February 2020, but suddenly in March, a very funny thing happened. Yup. Due to the COVID pandemic, filming was delayed until July to set up safety protocols, which included testing and social distancing. Even the release of the movie was delayed for a year, which allowed more time to finish the special effects and editing. So with all that time provided, was Trevorrow and crew able to deliver a solid entry? So, as you've clearly noticed by the merchandise behind me throughout the last couple of films, there's a very good reason why I don't own the Jurassic World trilogy. Not even the 6-film collection set, which so insultingly calls itself Jurassic World, which should be called Jurassic Park! It's okay. It's okay. At least the new 4K Steelbook editions have them separated, so one's for Jurassic Park and the other's for Jurassic World. But I don't have a 4K player, so I must rely on DVD and Blu-ray. 'Cause mine television is not equipped for ultra-high def. Besides that, I've had no urge to go back and revisit Fallen Kingdom or Dominion. I saw them once, and that was that. For this occasion, these were the first time I actually decided to revisit them. And let me tell you, when I saw Dominion in theaters for the first time, I was really let down. Very disappointed. But hey, it's been a couple of years. I decided to rewatch it just for this occasion. Maybe it will hold up. Maybe it's gotten better. Maybe it will age well. There are some cases where one sees a bad movie and maybe it's the experience or how you saw it. But hey, you hold it off a couple of years, see it again, and maybe it's better. I so wish that was true here. This entry jumps ahead 4 years after dinosaurs get unleashed to the world, where a company called Biosyn moves some of them to a preserve in Italy for study. Elsewhere, people are just trying to make a living with the new creatures. From here, Dominion splits into 2 different movies. At the time, legacy sequels are trending high, like the new Halloween movies, Mad Max Fury Road, and Spider-Man No Way Home, just to name a few. Just the premise of characters from previous entries interacting with new characters was ideal, and it could work if done right. But I feel that aspect works best if you really care for the new people. In Plot A, Owen and Claire go into hiding while taking Lockwood's clone daughter Maisie with them. It's a very dysfunctional family where Owen is trying to relocate stray dinosaurs while Claire is investigating animal cruelty. Maisie, still played by Isabella Sermon from the last movie, is not pleased with being kept under wraps. I understand why they would hide her from people trying to exploit the idea of a clone human, but even I'm more curious to know, how did the world find out about this? A small news report at the beginning serves as an information dump on how the world works now, but also reminds us why these dinosaurs are loose.
And rumors persist of a human clone who mysteriously disappeared, leading to a worldwide search.
Are we being too literal?
No, you fool, we're following orders. We were told to comb the desert, so we're combing it.
And how they found out about Maisie, I would really love to know. Regardless, it just so happens the Velociraptor Blue is still around, and also had a baby who was later named Beta. Well, gee, we were all riding that baby craze, weren't we? Baby Yoda from The Mandalorian before we even got a name, Baby Groot, Baby Mr. Peanut. It was everywhere. I'm so glad that trend is not popular anymore. Anyway, Maisie and Beta are both captured, leaving Claire and Owen to go after them. I don't mind the idea of doing a globe-trotting movie, but again, it really depends on how you feel about the characters. Claire has gotten quite a strange character arc from being a cold CEO to an animal activist, and now she's cracking down on the mishandling the dinosaurs while trying to be a mother figure to a pure brat. I am still trying to run the math in my head on how we got here. It feels more awkward at times when she establishes herself as Maisie's mother when we know she's trying to be a mother figure. And yet, they try to shield Maisie off from the world so much. I understand why they're doing this, but you have scenes where she's riding her bike around town without any protection or fail. At any given moment, she could be captured. And even Maisie brings around such a negative attitude that I can't find myself rooting for her.
I don't think you understand how bad it is being trapped here.
You're not trapped here. We just don't trust people.
No, you just don't trust me.
While I do understand Maisie's angst, this is the same character who decided to inflict world doom by unleashing all the dinosaurs into the world. I'm sorry, but this is a trilogy. One character's actions carry over into another. This isn't like Lando Calrissian making a mistake and trying to correct that over the course of 2 whole movies. This is someone that does a really bad thing, and in the next film she's introduced as a straight-up angsty teenager. You are trying really hard for me to sympathize with her. Really, really hard. And I can't based on the actions of what happened prior. You so have to try better than
They're alive. Like me.
that. And Owen, don't get me started. They really try to amp him up as this action hero type. In fact, everyone in this movie is given that will. For the first bulk, they act like themselves, but when we get to some later scenes that involve action, they don't feel like the same character. Suddenly, they're running away from dinosaurs or doing all these action stunts that feel suited for Tom Cruise. And I guess Owen has magic Dr. Dolittle dinosaur powers where he can get the attention of any dinosaur by simply holding his hands up and staring at them. Okay, so when Owen does that with Blue, it does make a little sense because he trained her and had connection and things like that, but seeing him just do that to every single dinosaur and it surprisingly works? That's just weird. Because all that time, he was training these raptors. So, of course, those specific raptors would remember what he would do. But it gets more ridiculous later on when Owen, Maisie, and Al Grant do this trick to get Beta's attention.
Let's see if the idea flies. Okay. Idea! Oh, looks like we're all having dumb idea for dinner tonight.
Meanwhile, in Plot B, a swarm of genetic-modified locusts are moving around and eating crops, yet avoiding ones produced with Biosyn's materials. This catches the attention of Ellie Sattler, who convinces Alan Grant to help her out. Apparently, she also has Ian Malcolm working for Biosyn as a means to investigate what evil dealings they have. In a way, it's nice to see the old cast back together, but did they have to dress up in the same outfits for the first movie? I think we can identify them well enough. For a movie about dinosaurs, it feels really weird to have a plot where characters are looking into a company's shady actions around locusts. Apparently when Colin Trevorrow was working on ideas for the script, he heard about a program called Insect Allies, which involved pesticides being spread through insects, and decided to incorporate this here. I can see that working for its own movie, keyword own movie, but when I hear the words Jurassic World, I think of dinosaurs coexisting with humans. Swarms of locusts is the last thing I ever want to even consider or hear about. I get it. Trying something different, trying something new, but for a franchise that's solely dependent on dinosaurs, locusts are the last thing I ever want to be fascinated with. You know what the sad thing is? I kind of want this movie to be more about the original characters. It's nice to see them back together. It's nice to see the chemistry and them bouncing off each other. But I feel that so much time is devoted to Plot A that it really undermines exactly the actions of Plot B, and thus I feel like they don't get too much to do. The legacy characters, that is. Because everything is so promptly focused on the characters of the Jurassic World franchise, and I don't want to be with these people. maybe this is a case where if you grew up on this franchise in a certain spot, you're obviously going to feel more for certain things. But as someone who was there when the first movie came out, this is not exactly what I would expect from a movie like this. Genetically enhanced locusts. That is something I would probably find in an episode of X-Files. More so something called Jurassic... You get the idea. Oh, remember in Jurassic Park 3 how Ellie married somebody else and not Alan Grant, and viewers got enraged by it?
It's over.
Oh. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Because that's what's been important this whole time. Seeing someone get together with a slightly younger assistant. That's what this has all been about.
Ew.
Even the whole movie runs with this tension throughout, with Alan getting a bit jealous seeing Ian around her. It's weird, but it pays off at the end. Kind of.
I am coming with you.
And full disclosure, when I watched this movie in theaters, I remember when this thing happened, I heard one sound. One sad, sad sound. And if you know it, you know it. It went a little something like this. Dun, 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 dun. There's fan service and trying too hard to please the fans, and this movie tries way too hard to earn the respect of the enthusiasts of the original movies. Even right down to Ian doing the flare wave from the first movie, even if different, or seeing the can of Barbasol shaving cream from the first movie. These moments come off as distracting than interesting. A brief example is seeing Dilophosaurus make a brief cameo. That's a fan favorite, so it's important to give it a decent amount of screen time. But then they overdo it by letting not one, but three of them be the downfall of a key villain. That is just overkill. Even the action scenes in Plot A are not enough to sustain my interest. You have a black market that is doing dinosaur fights, a chase scene all throughout Malta, extras getting munched on the background or doing harm to themselves, and raptors trained by means of laser pointer attack. I should get excited for this. I should be engaged, but I am so far removed of interest from the two leads that I just want to move on to the next scene. I don't care if you have Owen getting chased by raptors on motorcycle or Claire having a rooftop chase with one of them. This is a bit too much like Jason Bourne. Which is something Trevorrow intended. And I know I'm going to get a lot of comments on this, but trust me when I say this. When I explain why said filmmaker decided to go with this decision and that decision, I'm not saying it to be mean. I'm just looking at face value and saying, I don't like this, but they thought otherwise. They believed this was a good idea, but I don't think so because it doesn't add up well. I don't have a hit list. I don't have a vendetta. All I can do is just look at this and say, oh, they decided to go this way because they felt this would be more sufficient, or that would be more unique. But sometimes it all boils down to execution and how you feel. And I get that. Opinions are like buttholes. Everybody's got one, and they stink. But this is far removed from the first movie. What started as a science fiction thrill ride about dinosaurs and interesting ideologies about bringing extinct creatures back to life, we have here a 2.5-hour spy espionage flick. I don't mind changing things up. I don't mind having entries that are based on their own theme and ID and what have you, so they can be easily deciphered. But no. This is just not exactly what I would expect from a Jurassic World or a Jurassic Park sequel, for that matter. It's like if Ghostbusters decided to become an action-packed Chuck Norris movie, and it just focuses on the action and less on the ghosts. It just wouldn't work. You tried, maybe, but it depends on the writing, the execution, and how it all plays out. And this... God, I can't believe I'm saying this. This is worse than the last movie, for those reasons alone. They could have just focused on the idea of people trying to coexist with dinosaurs. But they decided to throw that out the window, as they figured that would be realistic to see them running around the world the same manner that bears and deer do. Alright, fine. But did it have to come to this? Did it have to come to this? Evil corporate dealings, black market dinosaurs, Jason Bourne-like stunts, and James Bond-style plots. Is that what I want to think about when I hear the word Jurassic and World? For me? No. Just no. And say what you will about the Jurassic Park movies being a little anthology-esque, at least they were in tone. You could chalk them up as jungle adventure flicks. These three? Yeah. I don't want to finish it. Fine, I will. The only thing I do like is Kayla Watts, played by DeWanda Wise, a former Ace Force pilot that has a turn from doing stuff for Biosyn and eventually helps out our two leads. I can't tell if it's DeWanda's performance, but there's something about her character that I really like. She's a rogue that ends up having a soft heart and proves to be a helpful ally. She carries so much personality in life that I would rather see the movie end with her living while Owen and Claire end up as Dino Chow. Back in Plot B, the character Lewis Dotson returns, but he's not the same. Outside of being played by a different actor, here by Campbell Scott, he is far removed from the first movie. He is played up to be way too quirky and acts more like a James Bond villain crossed with Steve Jobs. I guess this is trying to be some form of criticism on billionaire capitalists, but it doesn't work for me. He's played up way too odd, and I almost want to think he's trying to out-Goldblum Jeff Goldblum at times.
Blue reproduced all on her own. Just like you said.
You're so smart, Henry. Anyway, I wish I could take you around myself, but, so. We get started again. You and me. I can get money. Yeah.
Apparently, he's the one behind the locust and the black market dealings with the dinosaurs, but they never give a particular reason for his actions. In a scene restored in the extended cut, it's revealed Dotson tried to use the locust to spread materials to improve the crops, but the whole thing backfires. Instead of taking responsibility, Dotson would rather delete the evidence to maintain his goodwill after building up a positive reputation from the ground up. I would be fine with this addition if it wasn't for his connections with the dinosaur black market, which still paints him as a bad guy and not a sympathetic one.
And then you grow up, somebody puts you in charge, and you see that there is no changing it.
With this scene removed from the theatrical, Dotson just appears as a straightforward villain that is seeking profit, even if it means destroying the ecosystem. Seriously, this is making Drug Co. from the Drew Carey Show look good in comparison. And those guys had a monkopotamus!
Oh, crap.
Oh my god, they perfected cloning?
No, they're a bitch to clean up when they explode.
Speaking of science, Henry Wu is back, and this time, they try to redeem his character, which I feel is kind of weird. After experimenting with so many hybrids, it feels too late to try and make this guy compassionate and forgiving. But that is the least of my troubles. Here, have some water I just cloned. I fuse it with Hawaiian Punch. Wu needs Maisie and the raptor beta's DNA to try and stop locusts from damaging the crops. Just the idea he needs the genetic material from a character that has been acting very angsty really irks me.
Your DNA could change the world.
Oh, you poor, unlucky, ignorant bastard. You really have no idea, do you?
Again, girl unleashed dinosaurs into the world causing an ecological disaster. Our hero and savior, folks! But then we get this.
So he made me.
No, Maisie, actually, he didn't. Charlotte made you.
It's a very interesting story. It doesn't make any sense at all. Are you aware of that?
So, in the last movie, it was revealed Lockwood cloned Maisie because her daughter Charlotte tragically died. This one takes a step further to say that the daughter actually made a clone of herself, but she carried a fatal illness that she inherited. Apparently, to protect Maisie, the whole Lockwood cloning her explanation was used as a cover-up. I don't get it. When I first saw this movie in theaters, I really lost it when I saw a scientist make a clone of themselves and place the clone inside of them. It was too absurd for me to take serious. I even remember ranting about it hard in the original vlog. When they explained how she got cloned, I was like, done. I'm done. This is Junior territory. I am done. Well, after seeing all 6 movies again, I think I get what they were trying to do here. In the first movie, it's explained that the dinosaurs are made as embryos that get injected into eggs.
Unfertilized emu or ostrich eggs.
Fair enough. So, a human clone embryo with improved DNA was placed in one of Charlotte's eggs. That's fine, I guess, but why did it have to be placed inside of her? Wouldn't that be technically considered giving birth to yourself? And why would she do that? Couldn't they look for volunteers or someone else? Did it have to be her? Was it because of a blood type thing? Just the fact they just so blatantly say that she made a clone embryo and put it in her and birthed herself. It's just weird. Also, the more I think about it, if she put the embryo inside of her as a means to give birth to it, just asking, despite the fact it's a clone, wouldn't it still have to be fertilized in some way? I'm just asking! Second, Fallen Kingdom really ran to the moon with Eli explaining that Lockwood was the one that cloned Charlotte. In fact, so much so it was highly emphasized. And yet here they backpedal that by saying, oh no, a scientist that had an illness decided to make a duplicate of herself. And a little after Dominion was released, Colin Trevorrow revealed that this was the plan all along, that it wasn't a grandfather that wanted to clone her dead daughter. The daughter actually decided to make a clone of herself with improvements to her health. Fine, but why wasn't that hinted in the second movie? It doesn't make for an interesting twist, it just makes things confusing. You have so much focus on Eli emphasizing the other reason, especially when he goes to kill Lockwood.
You know, I've been thinking. John Hammond was right. It was an unholy thing that you did.
Seriously, pick a lane and stick with it. And you're really asking a lot from me to side with teenager that made so much ecological disaster by unleashing these things to our world. Look, I know a lot of teenagers and preteens can make some pretty rash decisions, but you are really asking a lot from me to really sympathize with her. So much. moving on. For the most part, the dinosaurs look improved since the last movie. Clearly they're trying their best to make the digital effects look better and even incorporate some puppets into the mix. It can be obvious to tell at times, but when performers need to act with something, I get it. These movies have come a long way in trying to get the visual aspect to look right. And we even get some new dinosaurs in the mix, which are fine. Yet most of them have feathers or look more bird-like. I understand that evidence over time has supported the idea that dinosaurs were evolved from birds and not lizards, but even it feels weird to see giant chicken-looking monsters walking around. But, fine, I'll take it. The new baddie this time around is the Giganotosaurus, which Trevorrow described as being akin to the Joker from Batman. That's nice and all, but I think it would have made more sense to introduce this one earlier in the franchise so we get a better idea of how antagonistic this one is. Apparently some of the Giganotosaurus DNA actually was in the Indominus Rex, and I know this because I somehow found that out on the wiki page. Even if it might not have been mentioned in the movies. Which, again, if it's not mentioned in the movie and within the expanded material, I greatly debate if that's considered canon or not. Unless I missed a detail, it would have been nice to hear this a bit more front and center in the first Jurassic World movie. But hey, at least it's not another hybrid dinosaur Henry Wu cooked up, so I'll give it that much. The final 40 minutes or so see the Jurassic World and Jurassic Park characters try to work a way out to fix the locust situation and escape. At this point, I'm practically just watching the seconds tick by on my Blu-ray player. Even if they toss in so many callbacks or other T-Rex and carnivore fight, it just feels repetitive and dull. Not much else to say, just rinse, lather, and repeat. Apparently there's an extended cut of Jurassic World Dominion that adds on an extra 14 minutes of footage. And normally, I'm rather curious and intrigued by the idea of extra added scenes that could help things out, but after being so burnt out on the theatrical cut, I didn't bother seeing it. And even after hearing so much praise that the extended cut was the way to go, I still didn't buy it. I just let it off to the side and let it be. It's a shame, too, because I wax big when it comes to deleted scenes and longer edits. I'm fascinated when one small addition or a couple of scenes or two could change the course of the plot for better or for worse. But, just for this review, I decided to finally sit down and watch the extended version, hoping that maybe it could improve on a couple of things. Quintessentially, what it just boiled down to was I'm watching very much the same movie with just a bunch of added filler. Filler that doesn't fix every single problem I have with this entry. The only major significance was a 4-minute prologue that shows the dinosaurs in their natural habitat 65 million years ago. It's a nice moment that makes me wish this was the whole movie instead. No humans, no plot, just a nature life documentary created by ILM and Amblin, but with dinosaurs in the forefront. It goes from the T-Rex losing a fight with the Giganotosaurus to modern day where the thing gets loose at a local drive-in showing American Graffiti and Flash Gordon. With the movie running long, Trevorrow instead cut the prologue out and uses a trailer which was attached to IMAX screenings of Fast and Furious 9. This opening doesn't save the movie, but it's something that would have been nice to have in the theatrical edit. The rest of the additional scenes I could easily do without. There's more of the original characters like Ellie examining the locust or Alan Grant dealing with some disinterested young teenagers. There's a tiny bit more of dinosaur footage, but it's not that important to the plot in my opinion. One scene I'm split on is where Owen is forced to hand over a stray dinosaur to a bunch of gangsters. This sets up the introduction of one who kidnaps Maisie in a scene later during the black market scenes. But knowing dinosaurs are used for means of food and medical materials is a bit too much. Sometimes longer doesn't equal better. Unless it fixes the problems I have with this movie, I'm essentially looking at a much more dragged out and duller experience. The theatrical cut of Dominion already clocks in at around 2.5 hours, and none of these scenes do anything to adjust my feelings towards this movie. This whole trilogy is just a mess. The first movie is okay, but entertaining at best. The second one takes too many risks and goes really hard in places. The third one tries hard to please everyone and doesn't come together. What I shouldn't be surprised is hearing the reasons why people enjoy the Jurassic World trilogy. What I keep hearing is that these three movies are one long narrative compared to the anthology-esque feel of the first three Jurassic Park movies, and some even go as far as to say that these movies are exactly what Michael Crichton would write, and go as far as to say that this is in tone with his two Jurassic Park books. While I do agree with the idea of having a longer narrative, I don't feel these three Jurassic World movies do enough justice to sustain interest for an entire trilogy. The first movie was fine enough, and the other two just drag things out. Instead of focusing on the dinosaurs, it channels so many different tones, resulting in a trilogy that is lost in identity, and it doesn't feel consistent. And throughout each movie, so many characters keep making dumb and bad decisions that just make me wonder if anyone second-guessed to see how this would work in the long run of things. And to say these movies are closer to the tone of what Michael Crichton would write about is a bit of a stretch. You could argue it carries over themes and ideas from the first two Jurassic Park movies, but to say that these three movies are something that Michael Crichton would envision and be in tone with his work and style is clearly in the wrong. Because, personally, I don't think Michael Crichton would do something like this. Or this.
They're alive. Like me.
And most importantly, telling someone they will be safe and ejecting them out of an airplane into a flock of Quetzalcoatlus. Even during high school, I checked out some of his books, and they really try to make science fiction realistic, with explanations that would make Stephen Hawking envious. You can try to mimic his writing style and reflect on the way he creates characters, but I'm sorry. Michael Crichton is Michael Crichton. These movies are not Michael Crichton. And as for my final verdict,
That is one big pile of crap.
but hey, don't take my word for it. Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, and Dominion grossed $1 billion, so a lot of people really like these movies. Even if I already explained why I don't. Pretty sure you'll find someone else out there on YouTube, or Odyssey, or BitChute, or wherever who gush and love and praise the hell out of these movies. I guess that makes my opinion outdated. Why bother watching me, for that matter, if I'm just going to disagree with what you think? You love what you love. Fine. I'm just an outcast, I guess. Why in the world would you even watch me in the first place? Barely survived. I'm done. Oh look, the comments for my Jurassic World Dominion review are already out. Exactly what I expected. So many disagreements. So much hate. I give up. I just don't see the point anymore. I go to the ends of the earth to try and do something big and great, and this is where I end up. Oh sure, I could just be on my merry way, put on a movie. Any good movie, but no. This time it feels different. Feels much different. If only there was something else to get me out of this. Just anything. So I can just get rid of all this negativity I'm surrounding myself in. But I don't. I don't know what I need this time. If only I knew.
Hello? Is this on? Oh, hey! Hey, oh my god, you guys did it! You did it! You covered all of the Jurassic Park franchise. That's amazing. You know, you stuck with it. And you got all through all 6 films. You looked at that 20-foot carnivore, several of the 20-foot carnivores, and you did it. And that's just amazing. Congratulations. Now, you should do something like go outside. Go outside. Go for a walk. Blow the stink off you. Call a member of the opposite sex. Or same sex. You know, whatever you're into. And, yeah, for the love of God, just get out and have a life. Because you're wasting it.
This is exactly what I need.
You see the way through your cynical eyes. You're a troubled young man, I can tell. You've got it all in the palm of your hand, but your hands wet with sweat, and your head needs a rest, and you're fooling yourself if you don't believe it. You're killing yourself if you don't believe it. How can you be such an angry young man?
Jurassic World? Not a fan.
Hey, Vern, I just saw this movie. It's called Dr. Otto and the Riddle of the Gloom Beam. It's really good. It's about this doctor named Otto, and he's got this gloom beam. It's this thing that zaps computers, and he's got this changing coffin that changes him. And there's this guy named Lance Sterling who's trying to stop him, and there's this monster named The Dump, and there's this cute little robot called Slave Willie, and there's ghosts and pirates, and it's really neat, Vern, especially the part I'm in. But you know, Vern, I think you'd like it a whole lot better if you saw it at the theater. Know what I mean?